Hello, hello. Ash here. I'm very excited to be bringing you a teaching, an insight, a word for the day that is absolutely needed right now. I was going over some notes from a recent VIP illumination session, and this particular leader was having a challenge essentially claiming her voice. In this session, she signed up because she realized the things that she wants to create, the things that she's called to do at the next level of her career, in her company, in her industry, like what her heart is really longing for, is bringing her to an edge that she's never gone before. And as a result, she's noticing, in which I helped her see, that in her mind, she's thinking that she needs to go in to do more personal branding work and like all of these like strategic things that everyone in business tells you to do, which there's nothing wrong with those things. Obviously, I'm in the world of business. I'm in the world of consulting, coaching. So there's nothing wrong with that. And as we were speaking and we started getting into this illumination session, which is my high context, high touch, very personal, deep dive, bespoke process of going through what's going on in your life and your business, and giving you some crystal clear protocol of things to do, to embody, to integrate, to break through, right? So we're going through this process, and I brought to her attention, I'm like, this isn't about personal branding per se. This isn't about evolving your identity externally so that you fit in the boxes, because you're contradicting yourself, which happens all the time in my sessions. We are able to find the point in which you are literally going in opposition to what you say that you want. And so this whole time, this woman is saying, I want to fully express myself. I want to be out there. I should be on a TED stage. I should be here. I should be here. I see myself here. And yet her ask, which brought her into the work with me, was, can you package me this way? Can you put me in the box where these stages, these people will accept me, right? So as we got further and further along in the process, we were able to identify that she was self-centering and self-sabotaging by suppressing her own expression, which is associated with identity. There's a loss of identity of who she sees herself as and where she's actually at, and the journey to close that gap and step into that next expression of herself, right? So all of these things, again, so nuanced, so intricate, so connected, I should say, or touching each other. But the reason why I'm coming on here to talk to you about this in particularly, especially if you're a CEO, a public figure, someone who feels called to lead in a certain way, whether it's in corporate or in a business, as an entrepreneur, as a nonprofit founder, you guys know who you are, you know my people, is that I'm seeing this trend, especially amongst women leaders, where we've worked so hard to get where we are, to create the structures, to hustle through, to do the late nights, the early mornings, to have the resilience to lead and to build something. And now that it's established, we're having a hard time evolving to the next thing. Even though we feel it in our hearts, even though Spirit is speaking to it in our ears, we're seeing it in our dreams. People are even saying it to us, like, I see you here. Or we ourselves are saying, I see myself here. And yet, our approach to starting to take the steps to move in that direction and that evolution isn't matching up with the vision. It's as if there's some type of cognitive dissonance between where you know you need to go and the way that you're going about doing it. And the reason why there's cognitive dissonance is because everything that got you to where you are now, the success that you appreciate, the things that you've been celebrated for, the things that you've been honored and awarded and you've made your money for, that process, how you did it, isn't actually what's going to work to get you to where you want to go next. In fact, it's almost exactly the feminine feeling exhausted. That's 100% it. It is women realizing that the masculine way, you can't just be about anti-patriarchy and this is a man's world, but yet we're still approaching work and our impact work and our calling work in that same paradigm. And so I'm seeing a lot of women coming to me. Not only are they already in burnout or have been in cycles of burnout and are like fighting tooth and nail not to fall into burnout, which is taking a lot of energy anyway to try not to go into burnout. So there's all these what I call burnout band-aids. So you're putting the structures in place, you're doing the strategies, you're trying to prioritize yourself, but the amount of energy is taking you to think, to be different, to restructure your day. It's not natural because we've been conditioned to do it the other way. So you're spending a lot of your energy trying to not go into burnout instead of just existing the way that you actually could and should. But that's another video for another time. But to your point, yes, the feminine is feeling exhausted, and our very, very smart brains as leaders, as CEO, as businesswomen, right, can't wrap its mind around doing it differently, doing it from feminine leadership. But we have to. It's time, right? We cannot say we're rejecting these old systems or the way that the men have done it and structured our society, but yet we still want to perform and show up and treat our bodies and our minds and our businesses in that way. There has to be a balance. And the only way we create balance is to reclaim full feminine expression. Not just the soft, docile life and the slow living, but the actual creational power of feminine energy. I think we've come to a place of believing that only masculine effort, doing, strategy, logic, effort, consistency, whatever that means to you, is the way that we bring something from energy or idea into form. And that's not true. That's not the only way of creation. That's one experience or expression of creation. But creation, for everyone who's ever been a mother or become pregnant in your womb, knows that creation is opening. It's the idea. It's what's unseen. It's the feeling. It's the energy. It's the holding of it. And then it comes into form, right? So a woman's ability, particularly women leaders' ability to tap into and center the feminine and let that be backed by masculine effort and energy by yourself, your team, your company, is the evolution, is the revolution, is the pivot that we're on, so that we balance out how we're approaching work, our impact work, our revolutionary work, our dream work, whatever it is that you're here to create and birth into the world. So, coming back to the insights from this session that I want to share with you, and if this is already resonating with you, I'm going to give you a heads up that Elevate Mastermind is coming back. It'll be our 4th year doing this 9-month mastermind where we're focusing on activating real feminine wealth through real feminine leadership for women and femmes, right? And that is a restructure, a redesign, an awakening of your embodiment of feminine energy and how that creates all kinds of wealth in your life, whether it's financial wealth, community wealth, the wealth of love and intimacy, the wealth of your health in your body, coming out of burnout and being able to create the days that you want, the wealth of living the lifestyle that you desire and deserve at the next level. So many expressions of wealth. But that's what we're doing in this year of Elevate in our 4th cohort. So if you're interested in that, definitely DM me. You'll see communications coming out soon. We are limiting the number of participants this year because I want to keep working on some of my other side projects. But I'm so excited for Elevate Mastermind. It's going to be fantastic this year. But to come back to some of these insights from this session, particularly if you are recognizing either one, you are suppressing your expression and there's something going on with your evolution of identity, evolution of who you're called to be, how you want to show up, and there's a little like glitch in the matrix. That's one. And then 2, if you know that you always are leading towards your masculine energy instead of your feminine. And even though this conceptually can be a little bit woo, you're wondering how you can tap into your own feminine energy and what would happen in your life and your business and your leadership as a result, then these insights are for you. Number 1 is that in all of our evolution on this internet and all of our growth in the world, consciousness, we've moved more and more into an information society and into like applying the insights that we have seen in a way that we are so strategy heavy. It's to the point that we have like annihilated just pure creativity. And so many of us are searching for the space for creativity, actual authentic creativity without the need of an outcome. I would even just say authentic expression. Just say what you need to say, right? It's like the thing that came up to me, and I'll just say it this way, in this session was a long time ago when YouTube was coming out. Remember how, I was in college when YouTube came out. So like, it was just random videos. I didn't even understand how it worked. I just remember coming home to my dorm room and my roommate was like watching this thing called YouTube and was laughing, and it was just stupid videos. And I was like, I don't get it. And now fast forward, there's all these strategies on how to grow, and the technology has evolved, and all these like do it this way and do it this way. It's like we're trying to get to an outcome so much that we have completely annihilated our own ability to trust intuitive creation, intuitive flow, and apply that in a way that is very very real in this real world, you know? I think we're always going in this like seesaw of it has to be structured and strategic, or it's just aloof and otherworldly and makes no sense because you're some starving artist or some like, you know, and it's not that. They're not these big stark oppositions. They actually work together. So we've lost this ability to just say what we actually need to say, to follow what's in our heart, to just go what's in our gut. And some of the most successful entrepreneurs in all of the world, if you watch Shark Tank, which I love, if you go back to these episodes and listen to like Mark Cuban and the people, Barbara Cochran, I always mess up her last name, they talk about sometimes making a decision even though the numbers or the logic isn't there, but it's based on how they feel for the person. It's based on their gut. There's something that they see or they sense or they know, or it's just in them saying, I just need to do this. And so it doesn't matter the expression of how we say it. I use the phrase feminine energy because I know I work with a lot of high achieving, ambitious women who are first gen, similar to me, who all have gone out in the world and thought that with my drive, with my ambition, with my go-getter, with my studiousness, I will win. And we did, until we burned out, until we're unhappy, until we're wondering what the heck is wrong with us, even though we are successful, right? So this I say feminine energy because I know there's a reclamation for that. You might use a different word. That's okay. But the point is we have to come back to that like pure, authentic, intuitive, raw, you know, where we trust that and we see what it creates, especially what that creates when coupled with the physical actions and follow through. We've inverted the two. We've been like, if I put in the hard work, then I get to have the beautiful expression, or I get to have the rest or the beauty or the ease. And that's one way of working. We get to also flip it the other way and go from the energy and the desire and the possibilities and the dreaming and the imagination and all of these good things and hold that. And as we hold that, take action. Okay. The next thing was, She was talking a lot about the fear of her voice not being honored because everyone is so smart with the use of AI. And I was like, listen, I'm not mad at AI. I'm a little scared of it, but I'm not mad at AI. I don't like that it's doing a lot of damage on this planet as it relates to sucking up a lot of waters to cool the computers and all the different legalities around people's, you know, intellectual property and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's a very interesting technology, and we knew that it was going to come. It's been predicted, so on and so forth. And nothing is ever going to replace heart to heart. Nothing is ever going to replace your unique expression, the way you put words together, the way your cadence, the way your voice, the way your energy. When I walk into a room, before I ever speak, the way I feel, the way I look, the way I actually make eye contact with people says so much about me before I ever open up and share my ideas. And that's when you're truly embodying who you are. Who you are is heard and seen no matter what you do. I have been in sweatpants and no makeup, hair has not been done, and someone is like, oh my God, who is that woman? I have been completely dolled up and not in my best energy and not fully trusting of myself and the evolution that I was in and in this awkward, weird moment. But I'm so dressed up and I'm thinking like, oh, because I'm dressed up and because I'm here, people are gonna, and no, the energy was not there, right? The response was not there. So I just bring that up to say, you know, as things are happening in this world and in this planet and in technology, do not dilute the power of who you actually are as a human. In fact, the more human you can be allows the technology to support us, but also allows us to connect with each other. And so this particular client was really wrestling with herself, wanting to make it not perfect. She wouldn't say that, but that's what was going on. Of like, if I use the AI to help perfect my voice, then I'll be more palatable, then I'll be received. And that's not true. Your authenticity, your flaws, your honesty, your ability to honor your humanity, to apologize, to correct, to be present, your capacity to relate in difference, your ability to have compassion and like grace, right? Like, these are the things that we value. These are the things that creates wealth. These are the things that creates opportunities to collaborate and opens the pathways for new things, who you truly, truly, truly are. And most times, especially with women, when we've reached a certain level of success, we shy away from that because we think that level of vulnerability is going to make us weak or make us a victim or a target, or that we won't be taken seriously. And that's not true. The highest level of leadership, the highest level of impact comes from those who are willing to be in their power and their humanity. And holding those two creates all kinds of wealth in your world. All right. Thank you. And then there is this, like, again, trying to put your words and say your things a certain way so that you'll be accepted. I was hanging out on LinkedIn the other day and I saw this post that still bothers me so much because we're contradicting ourselves. And this is the reason why I love metaphysics. This is why I love energy. This is why I love the spiritual practice of being a psycho-spiritual life coach. This is why I love the ancestral healing work that I include in what we do and what I do and what we will be doing in Elevate Mastermind, is because the nuance and the energy never lies. It's all applied in certain ways that's right relative to that context, but the energy never, ever, ever lies. And so there was this post on LinkedIn where the person was like, make sure if they can't hear you, if you're a woman in the boardroom and they're not listening to you, you notice that they turn their backs or they cut you off or they do this or do that. Start talking like them, start walking like them, start showing up like them, put it in their language. And I was like, I know that that's wise advice in certain ways, like that's rightful in certain ways. And also, becoming like something else in order to be accepted is an abandonment of self, right? And so what we actually need to do is create the capacity to see the difference and say to them, I think you're misunderstanding me. I will say this again. And say it in your own language. Say it with your chest. Say it with your heart. Say it with your energy. Not to be combating with them, but to still put your presence in the room. Not to become like the men or like the whatever it might be. Because it could be a multitude of things. But I just remember reading that post and being like, my goodness, we keep saying that these corporations or these companies or these businesses or the investors are not understanding women, are not serving women, and yet we're still abandoning women and who we are and our femininity in order to fit in these spaces. It doesn't make sense. A woman's economy, the feminine economy, trusting in our own feminine expression, valuing each other as women and the feminine is the only way the world will value it. The same way it works with the feminine is how it works on the individual way. The same thing it works in that way works out in the world. Until we value ourselves, others will not. Until they feel and see us, others will not feel and see us. So I do not believe in that. I do not believe in speaking like men and acting like men in order for men to accept you. No. We as women and femmes and men have to get used to feeling feminine energy and feminine expression in business, in the workplace, in home, at the park, wherever, however, you know? So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. And that takes a lot of bravery because you're right. We've been rewarded for not being that, for suppressing that, right? And it feels safer to speak and act like others in order to get what you want. But at the end of the day, how much is that serving us? Because a lot of my clients are successful and unhappy, all the money, burnt out and tired, have another dream, afraid to go after it because they think they're gonna have to rock the boat. They'll have to rock the boat in order to create it. And then it's gonna take all the energy that they have left. And it's just not true. What we keep forgetting is that we are the boat and we are the water. So if you rock your own boat, it's your boat. And when your boat rocks, it creates the waves. And when the waves move and the waves start to rise up, it's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for everybody around us, right? So this is the last thing I'm going to say. Because once we get these illuminations, because that's what those sessions are about. My consultations are called illumination sessions. We usually come together for like 90 minutes, 2 hours. I go through all the things in life, business, relationship, health, like all the things, and give you a full diagnosis. We coach through things. We do some healing work. You walk away with an actual plan. I follow up with a handwritten plan. You start implementing that. You have access to me on Voxer, so we chat through it as you're moving through. And then we have a follow-up call. So it's very, very robust. It's very, very detailed. And then there's tons and tons of change. But what I want you guys to know as we wrap up this little live that I felt compelled to jump on, is that sometimes when we realize the ways in which we're in our sabotage cycles, the ways in which we're suppressing ourselves, the ways in which we're staying stuck in our heads instead of following our hearts, especially if you have already established yourself in some way, that's usually what puts you in what I call the pretty prison, right? It looks so good on the outside and people respect and love you and they count on you. But because of that, you're afraid of going after and doing what you need to do at next level. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're going to be working. Part of what some people are coming into Elevate Mastermind to work on. But what happens in that moment is we try to start negotiating things like, can I create the change? But like only a little bit. Like I just want it to be comfortable. I'm smart. I'm well known. I'm this, I'm that. We're in all of our ego and we start negotiating. We think we're negotiating with me or with a person or with the world, but really we're negotiating with ourselves. We're trying to keep ourselves safe because we think of ourselves a certain way instead of really stepping into the fire, the flames of purification and transformation for like next level power, next level influence, next level impact, next level wealth, next level intimacy. Another thing we've been working on and I've been seeing in these illumination sessions is how many women are successful, but they're lonely. They're unhappy. They want to be in a real partnership. They want to be able to leave from work and that impact business that they've created and actually rest in the arms of an amazing man or partner. And yet that's not happening. And so there's codes and teachings associated with how we can move around this world and remembrance, really, that helps us have the impact work and the influence, but also have the intimacy and the juicy love that we desire and we deserve. Anyway, back to what I was going to say. When we're in that negotiation and we're trying to find the comfortable way to break through, this is what I want to offer you. What's most important is that you have to claim what you're being told and what you know. You know that you're called to a next expression in your life. I say next level because I don't know what you want. Only you know what you want. Only you know what you're dreaming of. Only you know what you're looking at and what you feel and what's aligned with your destiny. Because I truly know and believe all of us are here to fulfill a destiny. All of us are here, and that destiny is more than one thing. It's many different expressions. So when I say next level, I'm saying what's next for you. It was part of my destiny to work in the advertising and marketing field. I really wanted that. That was rightful for me. And then I moved on. It was meant for me to go and live abroad and have this healing and wellness and destination, beautiful boutique expression for women. That was great. And then we moved on, right? Now I'm in the process of being an author and doing all these other cool projects locally and elsewhere. We all have different aspects of our destiny that makes up the tapestry of who we are. And sometimes we make the money, we get the brand, we get seen, we're on the shows, we're whatever it is, and we think we're done. But you know that you're not, right? So when you're in that spot, realizing that it is time to evolve, that's when we step in to do the work, right? Because the approach for that next level is not going to be the same thing that got you to where you are, for sure. Especially if you got this far from masculine energy, efforting, doing, proving, going toe to toe, long hours, pushing through. And I'm grateful that we have that skill set and we inherited it from very, very strong, amazing people. And the deeper reclamation work, which is why my own work has evolved from speaking only about ancestors to actually the embodiment of the freedom and the blessings that the ancestors are bestowed upon us and that we agreed upon, is this feminine reclamation work and leadership work and essence work. All right. So going about pursuing your creation by first claiming it, approving of it, and no longer denying yourself that that's what you're called towards and you're moving towards is number one. Again, I work with many different people and I'm like, say what you want, say the truth. And it's absolutely beautiful every single time because I can literally see in their countenance when the energy has dropped in, when the heart has opened, when the energy has shifted. The tears come, the color comes, like all these things come, and I can see the creation starting to happen. Until you claim and approve of what you're actually called to do next in this life, you'll keep wrestling with yourself. And the worst place to be as a creational powerhouse that you are is fighting against yourself. It's not even about society. It's not even about men. It's not even about the status quo. It's about you against you. It's about me against me. All right. So I think that's everything that I have to say. I'm just going to check my notes and see what's been written here. I will more than likely put this replay up, but I think I'm going to put it up in my subscription. So I want to give that a try. If you guys want to subscribe, I think it's still up. You can subscribe and I will put this replay up exclusively for subscribers. Yeah, I think that's it. All you need to do is claim and approve of what you really desire. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Getting approval of what you want. That work never, ever, ever, ever stops. Okay, let me see here. Your voice, your codes, your experience, your embodiment. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so heads up, Elevate Mastermind is going to be opening up for applications. It is a 9-month immersive mastermind coaching program. We do 9 months, so it's a whole commitment. It's really, really beautiful. Women have transformed who they actually are, not just the investment in the business or, we say we're investing in ourselves. We picked up a book or a hobby, or we went on a trip, or we got a personal trainer, or we redesigned our house, which those are all wonderful expressions of investing in self in your lifestyle. But I'm talking about actually investing in who you are as a woman, right? How you be, how you think, how you feel. When do we invest in who we actually are? Not the skills, right? Not the trips, not the growth in you as a CEO so you can have a bigger bottom line, but actually who you are as a woman. That's what we're doing here. So you'll see more communications about it. If this speaks to you, I would love, love, love to have a chat and see if it's a good fit. Otherwise, I'm sending you so much love wherever you are. Please consider the ways in which your path is calling you further, higher, deeper. And in what ways are you suppressing your own power by continuing to work hard, deny what you truly want, and just not being who you know you're called to be at next level. That's it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.